Part 6 in the mix. All right, let's take a look at our next question, which is right up here in the top right hand corner. Which quotation from the interviews best illustrates the journalist's claim? Aha. So, right off the bat, we know that this is a claims question because it asks us which best illustrates the journalist's claim. And these are definitely going to show up. This exact wording will appear, especially in the first module. And when it asks you to illustrate a claim, first you have to go into the text, you have to find the claim, and then you have to pick the answer choice that matches the claim the best. Illustrates means matches. Which answer choice says the same thing as the claim, perhaps in different words, but the closest meaning. So let's go ahead and read the text. Art collectives like the United States and Vietnam-based collective, the Propeller Group, or Cuba's Los Carpinteros, are groups of artists who agree to work together, perhaps for stylistic reasons, or to advance certain shared political ideals, or to help mitigate the cost of supplies and studio space. All right, so artists and collectives working together. Regardless of the reasons, art collectives usually involve some collaboration among the artists. Okay, they collaborate and work together. Based on a recent series of interviews with various art collectives, an arts journalist claims that this can be difficult for artists who are often used to having sole control over their work. Okay, so they ask us to illustrate the claim, and there's a key word or a key group of words here that tells us where the claim is in the text and how to locate it, and it's right here. An arts journalist claims. We're looking for the journalist claims, and arts journalist claims. Naturally, the claim is going to follow. So this is our claim. That this can be difficult for artists who are often used to having sole control over their work. So whatever matches that the best is going to be the correct answer. So let's take a look over here. A. Having worked as a member of a collective for several years, it's sometimes hard to recall what it was like to work alone without the collective support, but that support encourages my individual expression rather than limits it. The support encourages my individual expression rather than limits it? No, here it said that it's difficult for the artists, and this artist is saying the collaborative helped them. So that's the opposite of the claim. That doesn't illustrate it at all. It's the opposite. Okay, B. We work together, but that doesn't mean that individual projects are equally the work of all of us. Many of our projects are primarily the responsibility of whoever originally proposed the work to the group. All right, so I see in the claim that they're talking about their work, the artist's work, and this question mentions the work, or this answer choice mentions the work twice, so at least it's on topic. That could potentially be the answer, but let's move on. C. The first collective I joined included many amazingly talented artists, and we enjoyed each other's company. That sounds positive. But because we had a hard time sharing credit and responsibility for our work, the collective didn't last. That seems to match the claim that the artists are not used to sharing the credit for their work, or they have sole control over their work, and so the collective, it was hard for them to be in a collective. So I'm going to leave that for now as well. Okay, option D. Sometimes an artist from outside the collective will choose to collaborate with us on a project, but all of those projects fit within the larger themes of the work the collective does on its own. I don't hear anything about artists having a hard time working in a collective here. It just said that an outside artist will sometimes join the collective. That's irrelevant. It has nothing to do with the answer choice. So watch out for that. These are common answer traps. They'll usually give you an answer that's the opposite of what you're looking for, and they'll often add something that's irrelevant. So once again, we're down to two options here. Is it B or is it C? Which one is better? If you like these sorts of tips and this is useful for you, like, share, subscribe, check back in. I'm giving this information to you for free because I'm tired of seeing students who pay tons of money for the prep get all the high scores while everyone else gets left behind. Well, This is talking about the work. In option B, it talks about their work, but it says many of our projects are primarily the responsibility of whoever originally proposed the work to the group. That doesn't mention a difficulty, whereas this directly mentions that artists are having a hard time sharing credit and responsibility for the work, which illustrates the claim or matches the claim the best. So C is your answer choice here. And what they're doing in option B is they're using something called repetitive language, or they're basically taking the word from the text, in this case the work, and they're recycling it in the answer choice, but it's out of context. And this is a very common answer trap, because students say, well, that's what it says, and it says that over here, so it's probably the answer. But that's just a trick the SAT pulled to try to get you to click the wrong answer. Hey, are you going to take the SAT? Why not get an edge? You're competing against everyone else who's taking the test. And they are studying, they are preparing. And guess what? If you're not getting the score you want, it's not because you're not smart enough to get a high score. It's because you don't know the specific strategies for this specific test. If you really want to get an edge and get that higher score to get into the university of your dreams, come check me out on Fiverr. Doc English. I'm offering a 12-lesson course that will prepare you for this test, and you will have a huge advantage. Check it out.